It's a revelation to define my own character, going to war with duality and thinking thoughts. If I follow, I'll avoid identity and a visual of existence. No one can define existence. Maybe the fascination of femininity, beauty-inspired poetry, not to describe one's love and its swirling new sensations, a beauty of morals, innocence, and goodness, representing everything good over earth. Everything has beauty, rendering to the individual to be able to see it. Warrior, possessed by women, consumed by her wishing kisses, charming glances, a romance story underneath. Along the side of the broken pieces, wanting to be swept up. Patterns, motion and grace, equate in love, lingering power, dancing with life rather than wrestling, a prelude to culture, once interested, pillars raised in homage, fear the thorn, but love the rose. Internalized independence that create an alternative for me to embellish, a terrain of absence, of total ugly, relating to sin. Spark without emitting glowing fire, trembling over the floor. Perhaps it's up to me to master and not by another. Poetry by others, wrestling to understand, markings of effort, an attempt for a moment of attention. Historic in its thinking, prophetic in its language, scoring passages for my own time. Confident, unusual, brewing a sense of never meant to be here. Like I was born to the wrong family, to the wrong period. Nameless, of not knowing my own. Born freely into a life I never asked. Apostle to my own soul, I went inside and found something else, a character that needs the duration of my lifetime to unravel and develop. A destiny at a spearhead, forward to it. It's something I didn't determine. Why I do, I'll never know. Why does it always end up like this? It was something to live for, but could not commit. I want to commit to art, but couldn't. So I have to rise up and transition through death and commit to the realm we are unable to see. We no longer wear the same uniform. My heart breaks. It leaves a hardened stain. What do you do when the love and hate cannot coexist? After all, I've never been a deep sleeper, riddle not. Lyrics in securing tones, breaking bread with muses. On low I worked hard, but when you're young and coming up, there is no respect. I was a cheap imitation of an artist. But look what I made for you. When you make some success, look at how I look at you, treat you, aiming for royal standard. I came and I saw from addiction to scum to a sister sitting next to Princess Di. It's too true. I witnessed Mozart reach Neo heights, and now I want to do it too. I've never read any poetry to a camera before. It's always been in print. Everyone has it inside. Just everyone waits for the one to spark it. It's uncertain, like the arts. We're boundless in the depths of romance, measure in emotions, valued in sensations. Life is short. It's easy to blame time, derived character in parts of life. No one sees to see if it's compensation. Is it eternal? Love that everyone wants. The arrow of time moves in one direction, constant, curving around this globe, always at witness to the star's beauty and underneath the glory of the sun. Oh, poets. The most romantic people on earth because they're the most lonely. Ever never to pick up anyone. Transcend every moment, bearing the burden. Every day I front, making my own life worth living, improving. Quality deepens every day. To stand straight and smile, not only to accept life for what it is, but to take it and make something of it. Smile at the face of hardship, not to act, just to kill what's not yet created in me. Maybe this incurs the cost of withdrawing from the normality of life, the mundane, to what others I know do. I'm walking a metaphor for folklore, a constant duality, speaking in the language of poetics, wanting to live in the world that the muses of romance now. Poet plays on the matrix. Poet is a result of the paradox, martyred from the mundane, seemingly made in the essence of being eccentric, lavishly in the beliefs of love, and that every individual has one other made especially for them. Such a careful grace, smiles, a changing of suns with different moons swaying over as stars blow, supernovas birthed, a changing of mood, burning mind that turns around a fire, a crimson shade. Dust covers the space-filling universe. Looming ancient prophecies coming true, central, potentially creating a tragedy, especially for lovers. Turning away from my search, that spellbounded love, where they live, trying to fit in, not knowing their mystical hands. It's tiring on how they bite. Being different is something for me. Poetry, normal, is overrated and quite disappointing. It's not like the reaction of those who I left behind to be thyself, out of water. Love-making is made between angels. Reproduction is layman of people and normal until proven otherwise. Streets full of moving cars at work, denting here and there. People converse over coffee, pending further bourgeois ideas, validated in work, protected by man-made laws. No poetry recited. The earth swaying to sin. Utopia does live forever. just not attainable. They receive average wages. Their expenses and debt are beyond average. They have average education. They live average lives. Shine like a star. Live your life while the poor starve. While mystics play flair, but in this game of life, ain't nothing fair. It's designed for them to win. Don't be a fool and give in to their invention of fear. Wake up and be clear. Don't be a slave. Got a mind, got a life, live it before you lose it. A false sense of security, cushioned by the comfort of mediocrity. The middle of the food chain, trapped in a cruel cycle. A powerless urban aristocracy, the aspiration of the poor people. The sun glimmers for everyone, a gaze for the stars. It's a fade, a nameless mist, something that monks tried to envision, mystics attempted to understand. It's going to be a passage of unrecorded history. Things change. The dynamics of life change. Rich is poor. Poor stays the same, but become equals to those who had an upper status. Always wanting to be two people at once. Myself and someone else. That I had wanted always to be. Lift up, I spark, expecting upsetting news. I'm full of life, wanting to burst.
Now.
Because this is still the poetry one way. It's like almost like like that autobiography of the poet, which I think is kind of cool. So that'd be interesting to watch when it's finished. I'll look better than what I probably, you know what I mean? I'll look like I'm smart. Like was it Joan? I've forgotten that poet you sent me.
And Sexton? Or?
Yeah, and Sexton.
Yeah.
And she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And there's that just, it's like monotone and I don't know what it reminds me of, but you know, like it just makes me think of like a Sylvia Plath poem or something, the way she speaks, and her own ability for poetry as well. How'd you find her?
Research,
just research.
Just going through things.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool actually. Do you read much of Sylvia Plath?
Yeah. I recently read The Bell Jar.
Yeah.
Novel, yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
That's fucking. I haven't read it yet. I really.
The Bell Jar, it's heavy light reading. Like you can actually sit there and read it. It's a heavy novel, but you can actually sit there and read chunks of it.
That's cool.
At the same time, sort of thing. Yeah.
Wow. No, most of her poetry pisses me off. I don't understand it.
Oh.
And I mean, like, there's a difference between going from
allowing yourself to just kind of think what you like. Like there's a couple of people like that, like Federico Garcia. Like I really love his work. It's so descriptive, and I'll probably never know what he's saying. I don't mind. Like, and that's okay because he offers you so much. Whereas Sylvia, it's like you get invested, but then you just get ripped from it, and then you play somewhere else, and you're like, but I don't. And then it happens to you nearly every second or third line. You're like, can you stop it, motherfucker? Like I'm trying to follow it, but I feel like I'm just not. It's my fault, not hers, obviously. But so I'm just like, it's fine. The lines though, they're so beautiful, and like I said, you get so invested, but then you just lose yourself wherever you were within it. So it's annoying. She annoys the fuck out of me. She just annoys me. And Virginia Woolf did that. But that was when I was like 14, 15. And then a bit later I realised about her writing. She actually started writing the way her sister painted, which was without phases. So she writes for the reader to impose themselves onto the characters in her own way. It's quite genius in itself. So that was nice to go back and reread. Do you reread often?
Poetry, yeah, but novels sometimes I struggle with.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Because poetry you can just sit there and actually read poem after poem.
Yeah.
So, but with novels I struggle with rereading. Things like if I read one novel, I just want to read another one, a different one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and that's like you need a lot of time between each one.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go back and reread, but I haven't. It's like I'm waiting for like the few days off or something like that to go back and reread like 1984 or a couple of those ones, because it's like food for thought, and you'll always have a different perspective every time you read it. Yeah.
What about novels and stuff?
God, it feels like it's been so long since I fucking read a novel. Do you know what I mean? It's so annoying. I want to read more. I just haven't enough time. I think my latest novel. I think I just went back and reread parts of Kellion, the Book of the College, which I love. But that motherfucker's long and tedious and brilliant all at the same time. But I really want to get the book. I remember seeing it once in a bookshop, and I regret not buying it actually. I didn't have the money, so I can't say regret it. I generally could. But it's the something of the life of an opium eater. Confessions of an opium eater. But it's a classic, and it's that autobiography. Do you know of it? But yeah, I really, really want to get that book, because it's kind of like, when you read like Dorian Gray, it would have been its own sort of realistic Dorian Gray, like what he was actually doing. So I'm interested in that sense. I kind of want to know Victoria, England, and all that when he was generally in it, So yeah, I'm planning. I'm going to find that book again. I'm going to go to
I recently read the Satanic Bible.
Satanic Bible.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Anton the Band. Have you heard of him? Or? No. It came out like in the 60s and something.
Yeah.
And tried to redo modernise Satanism. So the thing, have you heard of Aleister Crowley?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Aleister Crowley in the 20s or 30s or something, and Anton the Band in the 60s and 70s.
Right, okay, yeah.
Actually read the Satanic Bible. Obviously there is flaws in it, but you can actually learn a lot. Like you guys learn to love yourself before you can love others.
Well, it was interesting because I remember there's two different takes on Satanism or whatever that is. And there is. It's actually like it's not. There's worshipping the devil and all that, but there's actually just a whole other way of. It's the idea of the fallen angel being human and understanding the place on earth. But you don't. It's an odd concept in itself, isn't it?
I actually respect the Satanic Bible. You can learn a lot. A lot of it's political. So the thing, like, he goes, the first satanic sin is ignorance. So the thing.
Yeah.
He-
But I mean, like, you
Yeah.
can't not be ignorant though.
Yeah.
That's also, you're not God, so
Yeah,
you're always
he's-
going to be ignorant in some way.
His thinking's like, I don't know if you heard of the French philosopher, right? Albert Camus. He talks a lot about individualism. Is your result of your own actions and decisions.
Yeah.
With Anton LaVey, he goes, reward the responsible.
Yeah.
Mainly, don't reward those who don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially those who can't take responsibility for their actions.
Themselves. And a lot of it's self-responsibility, individualism, things
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
It's very interesting because there's that whole thing with utopia and Thomas More and all that. And the idea is that when you suffer individualism, then you become the utopia.
Yeah.
Right? Which inspired Marxism, which inspired, well, apparently all the worst people on earth.
Yeah.
For God's sake. And it's not, that's the worst part when it comes to Marxism. It's so heartbreaking. They didn't want that shit to happen.
Yeah.
They wrote an idea.
It's become famous because communism works in theory.
It's
fuck it up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the evil people have just taken, you know, oh God. Wait, there's something else that's happening. There's another dictator on the rise. He's already, Venezuela. There's something happening in Venezuela, a new dictator, and everyone's having to leave. There's no money and all this sort of stuff. It's absolutely, it's going to be in the news any day now. Like, it's just brutal.
Brutal?
So brutal.
Cut.
Cool. Yeah, I was... Out of my heart, humble. Hold back never. Place not of jealous eyes, looking for an angry fix.
Mind-rushing thoughts, to stay and live, assuming it's close to Armageddon, arming everyone, opening up to the world's best kept secrets. At least, it's killed all desires. Let me sin in fate's steps again. In common thread, we're all going to die in similar vein. No dogma to recite. Surpassing the drama of theatre, art of the war, directly organized to analyze humanity's crimes, escaping grief. Mystics turn soldiers of the century. Death is out and looking for each individual and their dead wrong, without perplexing thoughts or methods. It reaches in ease into their soul, pulls it, and in the silhouette showcases personal history for the gods to lay judgment. As idle pagan ones die in stronger and public deaths. Under a somber veil, originality exists. Innovation is in being streams as a state of mind, ascending and opening at a spontaneous moment. Gasp and all, brief time of feeling of content then shiver and die. Salt on heart, poverty in essence, false substance, dream like atmosphere where nothing seems real, where everything trembles in static waves. Some people should have not been woken, when others can pay homage to, patch hands, hovering over a sphere, time warp, morphed into a remembering soul, rather into immortality. No stirring sense in flakes of warring armies to snap it out, not even a personal regret to motivate, to improve. I guess the wrestle between angels and demons won't end. Highly intelligent, highly creative, high in one's wreckness, suffering, contemplating in silence, concreting on oneself, wanting Eden, utopia here, never again. Earth has lost its passion. I'm eternal, acting out what I feel. I could not forsake myself, no matter how I try, expressing immortality, reaching nirvana. Late at night, fascinating sphinx from Havana, pillars, spreading out passages of time, controlling it too. Smokes, cigars, jazz clubs, filled, blues, discussing politics, a special sound. Call it new culture. We're all searching for fulfillment. Most do not go past daily activities. I had grown tired of being normal and poor. Unmarked graves, sadness in overcoming people's faces. Its inner feelings. Lacking euphoria.
I'm rested and energetic. I feel like I've wasted a few days. My days have meaning when I meet a new lover or when I write poetry that no one reads. souls, sparking light, like those drawing in fireflies, genuine and honest. Do not let your time spending in daydreams, waiting for past lovers to feel the hurt in the same way they had hurt you. Resentment in your heart won't change the heart of others. But when a poet has felt, discovered, adapted to their work, at most, they'll go into exile, etching wonder, always loving deeply. He agrees. Adapted to their work. I'll just keep going. Resentment in your heart won't change the heart of others. But when a poet has felt, discovered, adapted to their work, at most, they'll go into exile, etching wonder, always loving deeply. I've been around the world without a single cent. Found myself in the game of soul-crushing anguish. So I sit here, wanting to write heartbreaking tragedies, calling out to anyone willing to hear, but ended up howling to the moon. Oh, where have you been? I'm long gone. Smile, little baby. You, me and the devil makes three. We need no other source for love. This shall be sweet in retrospect. Patterns change, shifting across, healing, innocent and pure, born out of water, arch of eternity, inherent of change. Extracted rose leading a new generation. Death can never be the greatest, nor the holiest loss in someone's life. It's to give up while living, and never to live in the first place. The only thing that comes to people, with eyes wide shut, is dreams. Behind every smile, producing the beauty of art and dripping honey, is bitterness and past hardships. Love will carry me. For imperfection I'll always be, for I've dreamt to be saved, and in the end I'm writing to save you. Developed insight and developed sense of both happiness and sadness. Conflicting and raging war. Dominant feature. Extended reach over to the outside.
So just, I'm going to mute this, we can just talk about anything. So what's been happening anyway?
Not much. Had a couple of crazy customers, kicked them out.
What happened there?
Well, this one woman, she came in, like actually on my first manager shift, and she went up to a bunch of, she was like scoping and like sussing everybody out. She went up to a couple of guys, basically sat on the chair, whatever, with them, and then stole the beer off one of them. They were all drinking pints. And at no point did the guy, and we saw it happen, and we were going to go and say something, but at no point did the guys give us a look to actually help them out. So I just had to leave her there, because it's like, unless you tell me, you know, apparently you've let her, and you're not happy about it. But then the week after, she came back again. I'd left the pub for about 10 minutes, not even that. And she walks in, Apparently does the same thing, susses with this massive group. There's sort of locals as well. And then, yeah, she steals a drink, and something else happened, and then she knocked and smacked the guy in the face, knocked the glasses off him, and left with the pint and sat down elsewhere. And I'm like, so where is she now? And she's still sitting there because my staff didn't kick her out. And I went, okay, no worries, I'll go and do it. So I had that, and I had a license. I had a licensee from Cheers and security guard from over the road. And I had to kick her out. And she kept asking for the time. I'm like, I'm sorry, you have to leave. You just have to leave. You have to go immediately. And then she tried to chuck a drink on me. She's a sweetheart. Yeah, she was yelling at me, but I don't really care. I get yelled at enough, so it's fine. Yeah, it was nice. It was a good Friday shift. Chilled out with my boss, and that was cool. Just hanging out with Mum mainly, which is lovely, and Dad. Solid.
Well, that's good.
Hmm?
Life's good.
Yeah, it could always be better.
Could always be better.
I mean, just bills and stuff at the moment, so I'm thinking about moving.
Where to?
I don't know. I'm just gonna get out of that house. It's just sucking every last penny I have. So I think once I get
What are the sensitivities of a private life? A personal religion to a personal higher power. Perhaps the fruits of it. Formed poems. Sentimentalities to an undisturbed part of my own life. Moods of rawness, whimpers, slut thoughts of philosophers, drenching out humanity. Let it proceed. The most powerful people in this world are always unseen in my life matters. If I do not see you again, goodbye for now. It's over. So I'll be leaving. The damage is done. So I guess I'll be leaving. If you do not see me again, goodbye for now. As everyone knows about everyone's transgressions, and not the attributes to what makes them good. Sure, there is personal longings, wants in romance, and waiting poems to derive from my own experiences, to illuminate the world by a smile, knowing lover, never to love them, holy tragedy. Consider it blasphemy to poetics, translucent thinking in poems, cry out, uncovering parts of my own character yet not lived, daring myself to do so, ensuing blunt of life, living in rawness. I cannot dwell in current and living fantasies. I am and expressed magnolia, sigh and moan, for I'm like most, my biggest fear, insistent to be passion rather dull, anxiety and self-produced doubt, interruption to my path, and drive to find and live my dream. A life I vow I will not let it end. I'll burn chestnut trees to see those dreams bear fruit and allowed to breathe without discrimination. Moods brew and boil to the top, silent and violent. Imagine dancing with philosophers that tame poetry and can never speak such language in such a way. It changes the aesthetic of the stars. Rise the sun from its slumber and never again feel uncertain about thyself again. Imagine the wealth and quality of life lovers live. I'm living in obscure resentment. I never knew someone could be so well kept. My eternal life, formed and never lived in wild like passion and spontaneous flow, and I've heard of death, though I've never believed it would arrive to me, soaking into my soul in darkness and with dirt, in silent monotonous ways. Sobs from peers are heard, bleak and bland, never in passion, like comparing my eternal life, frowning upon the exterior life that I had lived. The regret people have, and so many gifts for the dead. Roses thrown at my lifeless body, eerily calm, coming with me, red petals, to help cover up the dirt. Rather, beauty. People should quiver before death. Spit us reborn, here or the next life. Perhaps we can blame the griefs for the admiration of beauty and thank Buddha on articulating about suffering. We have hearts in struggle about love, shivering before soulmates. Real beauty is something to be alarmed about and throughout the process of loving the other. That it destroys everything we had worked for, valued, and considered important, shattering like broken glass, then something by accident, stumbling and falling on death to sink into. Both love and death is a power of its own rights, radiant and illuminating. To know of your soulmate now, love to never, avoiding thee because of fear, insecurities, placing dull and daily life ahead. Death isn't as painful, for reality in life is far more crueler than death itself. Despair, fear, the slowing of time, hardship, poverty, indestruations, resentment, bitterness all seem to heighten and felt more deeply as death itself is prolonged. The grief in duality is an illuminating and addictive sensation, rendering me to be gasping in breathless waves. Looking now, in present,
God. Got my friend a job at where I work, and she might also be staying with me. It's good, so she doesn't have to spend too much money. But we'll be seeing a lot of each other. I don't imagine we'll get sick of each other though. It's one of those ones. And she's only here for another couple of months before she goes traveling again. So there's that. I do like my own mood, so I'm good.
With a big place or?
Yeah, I do. I want to move out, but I can't move out just yet. Just gonna make sure shit's in order and all that sort of stuff. And whenever all this is taken care of, like all this bullshit, then I can sort that out. But it's all good. The other good thing is that she's got a guy that she sees, so she can stay over there pretty much most of the time. So I'm like, good. Second over to myself. But yeah. So that more things will go on once I get this week over. Like last week and this week, when it's over and I get to go up north and I can actually start running again. So that'll be nice. How about yourself?
Just trying to stay patient.
Just trying to stay patient, yeah.
And so on.
It's the waiting game. You're just gonna get through.
Yeah, so you know that nature, you want to say stuff, but at the same time you shouldn't at the same time.
Yeah, no, I get that completely.
Yeah.
Man, that's lame. Oh,
It's horrible.
it's horrible.
I know you're going to speak like, something will work out. But
Exactly.
It's just the endurance of it.
It's just the
So I know what it's like.
time.
At the same time, they want to be something to be said to them, but
Yeah, you just.
and at the same time, you've got to give them room. I did say something yesterday to the voicemail. Just to go, I hope you feel better and all that.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of thing that goes.
I was doing that and then I lost it at my brother, so
Yeah.
it's
It's been 2 days before, like, since, and it was just like a quick voicemail, thinking about it. So. But after the little crap on Friday, Saturday morning, I said this again a little bit. But I think it was just
oh mate, I just hate it. It's like a butterfly with peanut butter, and it's just, and you're like, god damn,
Yeah.
so crap, like an eagle with chewing gum on its feet. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't, you can't. You're just like, I can't. Nah. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You're like, nah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I kind of learned. I'm pretty self-controlled a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And what I've been finding is just like, just think of the world. So I think if you just throw everything out.
You're just gonna like sit there in your room and go.
Yeah. So I was doing that for a while, and then I'll go, fuck, this is really unhealthy. I shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah,
Like
there's
throwing everything out there, and I'm like, no, this is unhealthy.
I know, I just kick things.
Yeah. And then like in the last few days, I haven't really been doing that.
That's good.
Then going into silent right at the moment. So,
That's good.
So I'm relieved that I got another message the other day going, I really was listening. I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah. I could be making a sandwich, or I could be looking. Show me something else playing over, right? But I suppose I could just do the washing up. Doesn't really bother me. I suppose between that. I forgot. How long do you have to be? How many people live here again?
5.
That's actually, yeah, that's right. There's a lot, isn't it? Is there a couple, or is it? Does that mean
No, just singles.
Wow. I won't actually get rid of that because it is your house, but yeah, I suppose it just looks like I'm kind of explaining the fact that we had a party, or this is my house. Yeah, sure. Yes. Use it. Fine. Point. Oh, I had a dog who did that, like bury the head.
I have found Odyssey. It is in thee, lover's own inner world, as my peers have labelled me dead. And it's far too late. I'm transcendent. Love in death, love in thee, the strength to follow through, the courage to love and to be loved, the price to pay. Personal history and what humanity has called life in this world and humanity itself, including those peers, close friends and intimate family ties, values, career, money, status, etc. Death is love's true prize. Rare as a person outside religion truly understand this. Though it's a different type of love. Why on earth would killing be a constant daily action? You can call them poets, romantics, and hopeless romantics, along with the muses and the mystics. Some say the love between two people is like the golden breath of God, sweeping in concerto like fashion. As for the slight chance it doesn't work, they turn to be hopeless romantics, to go crazy at the end of their life. It's a modern concept to idolize the beauty in swallow waves, as it does, where the romantics is silent treatment, cry in knowing better, for one in love with another. They'll know their soulmate's essence to the character through the heart and mind. Their beauty drips and spills over to their flesh, making their whole frame and being be one glorious poem. even though the romantics know it is only their eyes that glances upon their soulmate in such a way, and why shouldn't I? I wouldn't dare to have it any other way. And now I wait for God's punishment of his jealous wrath, for only wish to go in different direction from Eden than the same path of Adam and Eve. And could it be that I am reminded I'm actually alive now? It's all right. With the sun rising daily in the morning time, dictated poetics over my morals and ethics, for it's been a long and cold sweep before meeting you. There goes the silver moon, and here comes the sun to garnish our skin and highlight our smiles. No! We've been too afraid to surrender into one another. A moment without you is the moment after confessions with God. Perhaps the soulmate has replaced the fruit. Undeniable. Some things should not be so easily and understood. There has been generations of poets before us, as for them screaming about love. Here comes the sun of the night. Perhaps pushed over to the water by the burning bush. There goes the silver moon, dripped in red by raw blood. It's fucking nausea to be drenched in love, cruel and whimsical. Forgetting one is starving for another thing earthly. Anything earthly. Who knows what we'll find? We just all wanted to shine against that mocking time. For only our only sins against love is the life we didn't live. At least it teaches lovers how to sing in despair and horror. We immersed ourselves in each other. Glorious conversations and saturated silences with smiles. Eyeglasses rubbing of the face after love is made. My own existence is tainted. Into each day now I'm living, I'll be further away. Have you ever met someone you flee from? Not like a childlike addiction or fabric of flushed love. But you're there and couldn't win their heart. And to the contrary. Imagine the most beautiful person that not only you can speak poetry to, but the essence of the fabric of cosmos changed and finally became illuminated. And you're there, and you couldn't win their heart. I'm changing my God and the way I pray. Sorry, I bugged it up. I wrote something out earlier. Everything begun to fade. You think they'll know better, all because they're older than me. I hate to be a burden, but if you can't recognize talent, I'm cutting your throat. I'm not dying, even though it's going to happen. I sold my soul and the price was cheap. I'm packing demons in the pockets of the soul until I'm snapping other souls, tearing their hearts apart, and if Bahamut lets it, I'll live forever. Never to be under pressure again. In a house of addicts, can't call it. I sold my soul and the price was cheap. Give me rest or take my breath, I'm going to live on. I'll be gone any day. It was my own reflection, my own path and introspection. Unhappy, internal, landscape was not filled with gold or the ability to calm and grow self-satisfied. Vanished in paradise, creating my own utopia. Satisfied desire, fallen constellations, palms on the sea. blind to one's faults. It's ruthless, like existence, emotional, enormous, and large landscape. Knowledge now I've obtained runs deeper than the mystics. An arm's reach of madness. Silky memories of love. Future thoughts in bleakness. I mingle with others who are banished from paradise. None of us label it Eden. I cannot eclipse illumination. No ethos I hold in the ether. No myth of my persona. Bondage to self, binded to the flesh. A speck. In death is when I'll enter eternity. I wish not my poems to expire high-strung genius. I'll trust the growth of my own imagination. I'm frail, fragile than my own poetry. A flicker, a faint cry, obscure forever, absurd, never. Out in the wild, no monstrosity to turn to. I'm left to feel melancholy, and it's true. Like bits of sky feel upon just to crush my spirits. My tears won't turn to ecstasy. Autumn Sonata processed. Aching memories. Eyes presenting twilight. Barefoot. Love outside poetry. Outraged lovers missing out. Unimportant smiles. Romantic flair. Love in Paris. Engaging in my own emotions. Love and lust. I do not grow tired. They had lost all sense of time. The agony and void of humanity increased. Fluster emotions, flickered of a smile, until it gets caught in a glance, poetry in flesh. To wrestle with love is to lose. And when it's noticed, anything beautiful of the flesh is looked past, diving on purpose to the character, noticing everything, desirous of knowing everything at once, never to want it any other way. Where things like jealousy, envy, greed and lust part from the individual, vibing. Everything becomes so raw in the creation of a lover's world, with no more tears left to cry, no longer questioning why things had been worked for, lost their value. For the shackles of the life provided, like it provides for everyone, has dripped away in melting forgetness, being in existence, and found its own fate. Safety in the other's arms, destined. Watch the romance swell, knowing thyself in brutal clarity, fearing the flaws, fears, insecurities inside, vowing that no one else would ever know. In a single smile, kiss, slight touch of the fingers like sin, it's forgotten and forgiven. Everything now has been illuminated. Blazing sun, fireflies in the moon's silver, bathing in romance, in those touches, private moments, holding one another, throbbing fingertips for throbbing sensation, an entire inner world battered in pulsing waves, wanting to scream it out, taming waves, wild and everything else, enticing. Exchange secrets, parts of the soul swapped. Muses smile and want to retire. Turn the lights on for now. Heaven can relax later. When the beauty of lovers are thrown into the depths of heaven, and romance can make love with it. If I could start from scratch, I'll wage war earlier in attempts to conquer my own flaws, in order to be pillar and make something of myself. Be a blessing to those I dare open up to, as some have been to me. Growing pains is in retrospect, but I guess a contribution to youth is always a join to learning. If I could start from scratch, I'll celebrate my 18th by vowing to stay clean, showing up to recovery and never saying a single to any other. Not a single word to any other in those rooms. If I could start my life from scratch, I would learn about death, growing my learning thoughts to its definition and learn how to die. We all die one day. And I'll open up to death's face. It isn't a crime unless they catch you. If you live for yourself, you'll die in shame. If I could start from scratch, I'll hug every person who is kind enough to say hello. If I could start my life from scratch, I'll value reading poetry for the sake of the poet who had spent their entire time articulating the world's thoughts that are mixed in with emotions. I'll respect the devil because truth doesn't change and faith isn't required when it comes to it. For now, if you get too close, I'll clap you and wouldn't resign to victimhood when I got to leave home. Because they had no money and the lack of understanding others leaves room void. No one will truly know until we all trade places. Life isn't promised. I'm still blessed to every dollar I'm getting. And I'm still being guilty of being anxious. I've given up on getting a fair go. Reality demands something else to what society gives back. The duality of humanity breeds fair go to those who develop originality, to soak up pain, is to understand. But I wouldn't dare to sing gospel. I'll sit quiet. Because I have heard that when one weeps, you're alone. I heard a blast. When I die, I want to be a living legend. For they tried to kill me. If I could start my life from scratch, I wouldn't prevent myself from falling down. I'll come to grips with it. There's no other feeling like getting up and trying again. Then again,
Cameras rolling and
I could
action.
part from my past, but never to replace it. So coast to coast. Before going broke, I'll snatch their wallets and run, and focus on dying. And those are all. Let it fill up with the mystics. Love filling love in void. That's an endless mystery. And I love the adrenaline in my veins. From out the water, eating the apples, getting caught up on the supernovas, paying the price of diamonds in the sky. Not only I parted my past and everything that I had worked for, it's required that I forget about humanity and all their values. Never to speak between again. Breaking the chains was the greatest gift given. But your soul is needed. There's no tears left to cry. To live in the world requires you loving it or hating it. To move on from it, reach beyond it all, forgetting death. To live with the muses, tea with angels. Witnessing virgin lovers find love for the first time, constructed by a holy dust. Going into exile does not claim possession. It has provided a freedom, and I'm coming out. My inner world needs not dreams to live, for I had found another reality behind closed curtains. On a night like this, I'm in forever. My own importance to the world is small and stupid to some. Slight and soothing to my own essence. Diamonds in the lights, aligning stars in the night. Wonder what it takes to come alive. And it's usually something simple. Lovers with unqualified praise, they never deny potent poetry. I often kiss her, not to taste her. I often want to escape. So I dream to dive into her soul. Glorious treat, outshining caviar. It's when anything exotic is devalued, to be accepted with a sinful past, clean smile, a rupture in one's life. To fall in love and to be loved greater back. Awakening, transforming period to impress any mystic. There's forever and I hold it. If only I praise her. How I supposed to use it otherwise? How am I supposed to? A golden mask hides sin. Love is for the brave with sin in their soul. Life is given freely. Oh, poetry. You can never express what I feel for her. Pure love produces the highest forms of poetry, and the lover's heartbeat causes tremors everywhere, including the cosmos that permit every supernova to move. As for the rest, this love is meant to be experienced, and never to be told to others. pain is long and deep. It broadens itself. That self-will, running wild, motivating any artist to dream. Poets dream long, before acting with grandeur, and in youth there's nothing but dreams. As lust doesn't cost a thing, until all that youth dries up, and the ability to stop dreaming isn't felt. Just aging. To achieve harmony in this life, one must struggle for years, especially in poetry, where they can all articulate love like the tenor or the cellist over composed symphonies. And the nymphos praise them all. My heart is in my hand because it's pierced. Those who have content are the ones who dared to live in the first place, and I'm still hung upon you. Because those who've lived seem to have experienced love. My heart is caught, providing a helping hand to write any poem.
Pick up from where you took off. Pick up from...
That's right. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's alright, no.
Do it again?
Just pick up from where you... just take a sip.
Yeah.
And just go from there, okay?
Collect my thoughts. Shit like that.
People had made love without poetry, because lust is easier. And when awareness kicks in, it will be too late, and poets join time to mock them with heavy laughter. I grow tired of waiting, fatigued after actions with efforts of affection. Life goes on. No one likes the lovers lost in love, because it reminds them of what they don't have, wondering if the love is wild and roaring, or if it took their youth to tame. No one likes the lovers lost in love, because it can devalue any romantic piece. Those lovers in erotic acts, intimately fusing their souls together, getting to know the ecstasy of illumination, and addicted to sparking awakening in each other. For no one likes anyone in love, for their souls are free and without void and despair, so they shun those lovers out. In return, those lovers build a world of their own, forgetting the earth for the rest of humanity, never to fit in again. Can you love a smile? Can you love a glance? Holding hands? Would you tame beauty? For without love, the law means nothing, and the poets will turn out as serial killers. For no one likes people being truly in love, because it reminds them what's without. I can read any poem, but such things as love is not written, only expressed in actions, whispered in the ears of night, spoken by the mouths who've been to the horizon and back. Only in love, where it can strip anyone down to the nude, bearing to the world all their faults, sins, mistakes and regrets, revealing all their secrets and transcend into a saint. A muse for the world, I don't know about you. To what I think about those first kisses between yourself and your lover, as conversation between angels, choosing, closing lips, each other's breaths, felt slightly pressed upon skin, and the angels sing when the lips are closed, holding hands, and finally the delicate souls can meet and begins to feel safe for the first time. And everyday sounds turn into love songs that we've grown to accustom to listen to without knowing their meaning. Living now like life ends at the end of the day. You can blame fate for falling in love, or you could just go out and experience love. It's a place that we all ache to go, twinge at the sight of it. Love involves the energy of any supernova that births beauty on sight, creating memories for poets, adding charm to this present, parenting the future, dragging things up from the heart when we dared not to, and finally, for the first time, you shrug your shoulders and let go. As for anyone telling that you have to work for love, slap them as hard as you can. Then recommend them a good lawyer and a young lover for their spouse. Live now, live hard in passion. Live now as if all eyes are on you to lead them. Live as if forever exists inside. Let no mind be frail, and know fully well death is around the corner and all its conquering glory, for death is definite. Live now. Like if one has destroyed both desire and anxiety, live now as if you had discovered love. Live now as if your soulmate had just broke freely from the mold of poetry and had demanded it from you. Live now as if your own fate is turned into a burning muse, and in the transition into death, your reward is to be a martyr for those who had lived when they had a chance. For those who had lived when they had the chance. Glint in the eyes, seeing life for the first time. Acid, ecstatic, it sprung motion. Drama in scene,